kind of looking at a global scale here today, but really excited to share a bit of the work that we're doing here in the US. I think you'll find that there's actually a lot of similarities in the challenges we're facing, which is exciting because it means we have a lot of opportunities to collaborate and maybe combine forces to go further, faster together. So to start, want to level set on climate neutrality because there's a lot of definitions out there. I guess also level set on who is the US Roundtable for Sustainable Beef. Sorry, I forgot about that. But the US Roundtable for Sustainable Beef, just for those who aren't familiar with us, we are a multi-stakeholder initiative. We were founded back in 2015. We work from cow-calf all the way through retail food service entities. We have about 142 members, around 50% of which are producers or producer associations. And we center our efforts around our 6 high priority indicators of sustainability that you'll see down on the screen there. Where climate neutrality comes into play is back in 2022, we set goals across all of our high priority indicators for the entire beef value chain. And for our air and greenhouse gas emissions indicator, we set the goal to have the US beef supply chain achieve climate neutrality by 2040. And so to level set on what is climate neutrality, because I think many of us are probably familiar with net zero carbon neutral and probably not as familiar with climate neutral, we define that essentially as being equivalent to achieving no additional climate impact from activities by an entity, as in beef production, at the regional, subnational, or national scale. So we're really focused here on emphasizing the warming impacts and thinking about how do we characterize our impacts by achieving and maintaining net emissions at zero actual CO2 warming equivalents. So we're using metrics such as GWP star for those shorter term climate pollutants like methane in combination with traditional metrics like GWP 100 for carbon. And so the roundtable really focuses on how can we work at each stage of the supply chain to enact really more of a practical approach to what each sector can do to support achieving this goal. So not only do we have this overarching goal of achieving climate neutrality, but we've set targets by each sector on how they're going to help support us getting there. And so that's where we get a lot of our work done. But even within this effort, and I think you guys are probably not surprised to know we have lots of questions, and we always come back to we still need more research, right? There's a lot of questions around methane emissions. What are the different opportunities in the cow-calf space? What are the different opportunities around feed additives that we've just heard about? And so that's led us in the US to convene the industry to get aligned on what are all of our research needs. So recently, we've launched a research roadmap that is centered around not only our air and greenhouse gas emissions goals, but also our land and water goals to understand what are the critical research areas and needs for the industry for us to achieve those goals. And many of them that we'll cover today are specific to that climate neutrality piece. But you'll see there kind of those key research areas. And none of this works if we're not thinking also about producer support, which I think has also been a reoccurring theme we've heard here today. So really thinking about how do we work to support producers now while we work to support researchers in the science to meet producers once we have the science catch up.